One of the cool things with the SolarEdge app, with the SolarEdge ecosystem, is the monitoring platform, which makes the app work. So this is included with the product. You don't have to pay any subscription or anything to keep it, and it lasts for as long as your solar system is up and running. It provides a live stream of information, and it also records everything that's happening. We as installers have access to it, so if there's any technical issues, there's quite a lot of remote diagnostics we can do there as well. So we can see there on the screen that this is looking at my house. At the moment it's generating 900 watts, the solar power now, and the house is consuming 1.19 kilowatts, and then there's 0.28 kilowatts being drawn from the grid to supplement the solar power. And then if we scroll down a bit here, we can see the energy balance. So as I said earlier, I've got an electric car, which I use a lot. My wife also has an electric car, so we're high energy users. So this month, this year, we've produced 12.6 megawatt hours on our roof, and we've consumed 24.7 megawatt hours overall. So 25% of our usage is coming from the solar PV. And then down here we can see that on a graph, where the red part is the consumption, how much energy we've used. The green part is the generation, and the blue part is the self-consumption. So that's where we've managed to use our own energy. So the green part above the blue part is exported energy that's gone to the grid. And then we can compare over different years, and at the bottom there it gives some statistics. I've saved just over 12 tons of CO2 from this system on my house. Another part which is quite interesting to see, if we go in here, we can see the layout of the individual panels, and it'll provide the output today of each of the panels, or the total output over the lifetime. And this can be quite useful for analysing from a design point of view as well. So this property has a south-facing array down at the bottom here, which some of the panels have produced a megawatt hour on their own. And then there's an east-west array behind that, and you can see that the west-facing part is about 20% lower in its output than the south-facing array. But they're still all making a contribution to our energy usage. Taking a look at another data set here, this is a system with the battery installed. So we can see here the generation at present, 370 watts. 230 watts are being consumed in the house, and then there's 170 watts going in to charge up the battery, which is sitting at 23% at the moment. So you'll see on the right-hand side here, there's a grid figure. This is very rarely zero. So what happens is you sometimes get, when you start to consume some power in the house, you turn the kettle on, it will draw that power initially from the grid, and then the system will see that you've pulled that power from the grid and begin to discharge the battery to match it. So while the electronics do all the clever stuff, there's a small delay there, which is why even if your system generates more than you've consumed in the day, you still actually get a small bill. So typically there's something like 300 to 400 watt hours per day, 0.3, 0.4 kilowatt hours per day of this delay, which is where so we can never get you a zero bill. And you'll see that reflected here, that there's always a small figure going one way or the other to the grid. But it's definitely worth knowing that. So I'm going to go back in time a little bit to a random day in June, and then see how things performed during the summer. So we can see here that the blue part is pretty much constant, and then there's a red spike, which is a high amount of consumption in the morning, and the green area of generation is where the battery is being charged back up. So looking at this day here, we produced 42 kilowatt hours, consumed 20, 22 of those were exported, and we only imported 390 watt hours. So that's quite a low bill that'll be present on that day. And then the graph at the bottom there shows that the spikes of consumption, which weren't happening at the same time as generation, are being covered by the battery. So that's the SolarEdge app, included with all the systems, and I must warn you, it's quite addictive for the first few weeks after you get the system installed.